a message to the youth. Growing up as a kid, for some reason, I had a desire to try to grow up a little too fast, you know, um, instead of just accepting what was and just being a child. So today, the message is to the young men and young women in school. I want to let you know it's all right to be kids, right? It's all right to still play with your action figures and your dolls, um, your video games, go to the park, swing, right? Don't grow up too fast because growing up too fast is a setback because it hinders your process. My process was hindered due to me trying to grow up too fast. You know, I wanted to run with older guys. So when I was 13, I was running with guys that was like 25, right? And these guys were gang members, you know. And it was perverted. It put my mind in a place that it shouldn't have been. Okay, these cell phones, you know, it's all right to have a cell phone, but coming up in the late '70s and the early '80s, um, you know, people were adults were strict about how the child used the phone. Nowadays, you see a lot of kids they running around with these cell phones, and these cell phones have a lot of access uh, to things and items that could be or taken as inappropriate or not child safe, right? And it's just sometimes your mind is not ready for that without the proper guidance. It just depends on the parenting too. However, um, don't be ashamed to be a little child, man. I mean, you know, um, do the things that kids need to do because when you get this age, you're gonna wish you had her. I wish I was back in junior high school so I could do it all over again, right? Not saying that I'm not happy where I'm at with myself and my growth, but I just wish I could just go and just be built and stress free and go live and just play as a child because when you're a child it's carefree, right? Remember you're gonna get older, right? You're gonna get older, and the thing about you getting older is you're gonna have to start paying bills. Okay, so when that comes, you're gonna be very, very afraid. So take advantage of being a child. Take advantage of school. Learn as much as you can. Pay attention. Ask questions. Right. Growing up as a child, I didn't ask questions at all. I never asked my teachers questions. I just sat there, and a person not asking the question, um, you just there's no way you'll get ahead in school. I mean, you can go ahead and gain credits and graduate, but if you want to be at the top of your class, you ask questions. You get proactive in your books, right? Turn them TVs off, okay? Turn the TV off. Turn it off, okay? Um, Cartoons and soap operas and whatever it is you into, it was here before you were born. It's going to be here after, okay? But the thing about it is your purpose, right? Like my show, it's meaningful now. It's a purpose. I have a purpose, and one of my purposes is to reach the parents, right? Because I come up in a broken home, and my parents didn't have a clue. They didn't have all the answers. And I don't believe anybody can have all of the answers, the right answers. However, we can put effort forth, right? And once you start putting that effort forth, then you start gaining, right? This whole objective is for us to gain as beings, as human beings, right? And spread love across the planet, right? Because the planet has had enough hate. The planet has had enough um, people who didn't go on to finish school. The planet has had enough people who are illiterate, right? So it's time for us to start getting literate. And it starts with our seeds. It starts with the youth. You guys are our future. You are our future. And we need you guys to get strong and proactive, right? Still be children, still be sponges, but be sponges for a greater cause. We're talking politics, right? Economics, learn history, mathematics. Mathematics is paramount. Math is paramount. I couldn't tell you. I remember a time I couldn't photographically say 9 times 9 is 81, 6 times 6 is 36. You know, I couldn't do that. 6 times 7, 42, 6 times 8, 48. That was hard for me, and had I taken advantage as a child, right? Had I taken advantage as a child, which I had choice, right? Because 0 to 7, we start having an identity. However, I allowed circumstances to hinder me, right? Distractions is what I call it, right? Trying to grow up too fast, right? Right? And that's saying, stay in a child's place, it means something. Grandpa says, "Hey, come here, boy." I remember when I was little. "What you just say, son?" That was my grandpa tell me. And I said, I said a curse word." He said, "I'll whip you," but he didn't. And he did come in and say, "Boy, you need to stay in a child's place." And so, I learned at the early age that I just couldn't do what I wanted to do, even though I wanted to be older than what I actually was. At 7, I was trying to do things that 17-year-old and 18-year-olds were into, and it was unhealthy for me, right? And it took my mind out of what the purpose was. My purpose was to gain mentally, right? And to grow mentally, right? So in order for you to grow right into that adult that you need to be, you need to take your time, right, and follow the steps. Don't try to speed past the steps. Don't try to skip or cheat, right? Because once you cheat that step, you cheat yourself out of the process. So with that said, stay proactive, stay vigilant, man. Keep them A's up. Keep them A's up. Good grades, right? Raise your GPL, right? Raise your GPL. Then when you get to college, keep a good GPA, and try to get in the best colleges, you don't have to always be sports players, young men. You don't have to always be rappers, young men. We need lawyers. We need anthropologists, archaeologists, psychiatrists, psychologists, right? We need those things. Okay, we need district attorneys, right? How you doing, Mr. District Attorney? How you doing, Mr. President, right? Mr. President. So keep dreaming, right? And remember, it starts with you being a child. Be a child so you can receive. Children receive, right? They say, "Oh, I understand as an adult," but the child understands. Okay, so stay understanding, right? And you absorb, you learn more that way. So with that said, this show was targeted to the kids. School is about to start back. They're opening up shops and stuff. Just go back to school, after this pandemic. Go back to school and be all you can be. Much love.